Welcome back, everyone. Ready to dive into Judges 17? This time it's ancient Israel, no king, just chaos. And we meet Micah, who takes spirituality DIY.
Yeah, Micah,
He really does.
the way this story starts is wild. He steals like a ton of silver from his mother, 1,100 shekels.
Wow.
Yeah. And he gives it back, like totally guilt-ridden, but instead of just putting it back, she makes idols.
Oh, no.
And Micah, instead of like, "Mom, no," he joins in.
Oh, wow. So they're like a family business of unorthodox, I guess,
Right.
religious practices.
Yeah.
But then he appoints his son as the priest.
It's so strange, right? Because there's this whole system, the Levites, they're the priests, they work in the temple. But Micah's like, "Nah, I'll make my own religion."
He's picking and choosing.
Totally.
And then this Levite shows up, just, passing through.
Right, just looking for a place to stay.
And Mike is like, hey, be my priest, room and board, salary, the whole deal.
You know, it's like he thinks, okay, I got my idols, my shrine, and a real Levite priest. Boom, God's happy now.
Yeah. But that's not, that's not how faith works.
No, that's like, hey, God, I did all this stuff, now you gotta bless me.
It's so misguided, like it's almost funny.
Yeah, except it's kind of tragic, too. He's got the idols, the shrine, the priest.
Right.
But he's totally missing the point.
It's all outward, none of the internal.
Right. And, we might not be building shrines, but we do the same thing today, don't we? We make faith about us.
We do.
Picking and choosing what we like instead of, something deeper. It's like, well, this part of faith is cool, but this part, no thanks.
Customizing our spirituality.
Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a product, right?
Yeah. It makes you think, are we really trying to connect with something bigger or just using faith to get what we want?
Yeah, that's a big question, isn't it?
It is.
Micah thought he was doing what was best, God's blessing, but on his own terms.
And that's where things get messy. Wanting control, making faith fit our desires, it takes us down the wrong path.
Links the point.
We do. Faith isn't about control. It's about surrender. Humility, aligning ourselves with something bigger than ourselves.
It's like everywhere we look, right? Personalize your this, personalize your that.
Oh, no, right.
Easy to fall into that trap with faith, too.
Yeah, and Micah, he shows us where that leads. Trying to, cram faith into this box that we like.
Instead of letting it change us.
Exactly.
It's almost like building a little spiritual echo chamber.
Yeah.
Just hearing what we want to hear.
Which can be, well, it's kind of dangerous.
It is. It is.
Because then we're missing out on, the whole point.
The richness, the
Yeah.
complexity.
Right. We don't see other perspectives.
We don't grow.
We don't grow, yeah. So how do we avoid that? How do we, break out of the echo chamber?
Yeah, how do we make faith, real, but also connect to something bigger?
Well, I think we got to remember faith, it's not just these fixed beliefs, it's a journey, a process.
It's always changing.
Yeah. And that means being open, challenging our own ideas.
So we shouldn't just blindly accept everything.
No. Faith means really engaging, wrestling with the text, talking to people, studying, praying.
It's active.
It's active, yeah, not passive. And this reminds me of, going back to Micah, how he saw faith as this transaction.
Right. Do this, get that.
Yeah. If I do all the right things, God has to bless me.
But that's not real faith.
It's not about, bartering with God.
Right.
It's about aligning ourselves with God's will.
Even when it's hard.
Even when it's hard.
When it's not what we want.
Yeah, exactly.
So how do we get that kind of faith?
The kind that changes us.
The kind that changes us, not about getting stuff.
It starts with surrender, admitting we don't have all the answers. Trusting.
Yeah, trusting.
Yeah.
Even when we don't understand.
Mm-hmm.
That there's something bigger at work.
Letting go of control.
Letting go. And realizing faith, it's not a solo thing.
No.
No, we need each other.
Community.
Community, yeah. To challenge us, encourage us, hold us accountable.
That's what Micah was missing, wasn't it? Just him, the shrine, the hired priest.
Yeah, he was all alone.
He thought he had it all figured out.
And without, other people, without that wisdom.
It fell apart.
Yeah, it fell apart. So yeah, faith, it's not a solo sport. We need to be connected to something bigger. A community, a tradition, principles that guide us.
Something to help us grow.
Something to help us grow, yeah. And we need to be careful about, who we surround ourselves with. People who push us,
Inspire us.
keep us grounded.
Keep us grounded, yeah. So we've talked about this DIY religion thing and how faith is a journey, not just a set of beliefs, and how important community is. But as we wrap up, I think we need to think about how this applies to us.
Today.
Yeah, today. What are those modern idols that are, sneaking into our lives?
It's a lot to unpack, but the real work starts when we take this and apply it.
Yeah.
And that's what we're going to do in the next part, figure out how to spot those idols and break free from them.
Yeah. How to find something real, something lasting.
So we've been talking about this DIY religion, from Micah's story, and it really makes you think, what are we putting first in our lives? What are our modern day idols?
Right, and they're sneaky. They can look like good things, success, achievements, even relationships.
But when they become like the most important thing,
Yeah, then they're not so good anymore.
they've become idols. So where do we even start? How do we figure out what our idols are?
Well, think about, where you spend your time, your energy, your money. What takes up all your thoughts? What are you always chasing after?
What do we sacrifice for those things?
Exactly. It's about looking at your life honestly and seeing the patterns, the things you've put on a pedestal, maybe without even realizing it.
And sometimes it's hard to see.
It is. Another thing you can do is pay attention to your emotions. When do you feel anxious or jealous or like you're not good enough?
Oh yeah, that's a good point.
Those feelings can show you what you're holding on to too tightly.
Like those things become how we measure ourselves.
Yeah. And if you're not getting them or achieving them or experiencing them, you feel like, a failure.
That's a big sign.
It is. That those things have become idols.
So, okay, let's say we figure out what our idols are. Then what? How do we actually get rid of them?
It's not, a quick fix. It takes work, honesty, and being brave enough to let go.
Yeah. It's one thing to know, but to really change.
Right. One thing that can help is focusing on what you're grateful for.
Yeah.
Your health, your people, the simple things.
So not what we're missing, but what we already have.
Yeah, because when you're grateful, those idols lose their power a little bit.
We realize our worth isn't tied to them.
Exactly. It's like you're pointing your compass in a new direction towards things that really matter. And another important thing is to, find good ways to use the energy you're putting into those idols.
So it's not just taking away, but replacing it.
Right. Like, let's say you're obsessed with work. Maybe now you, I don't know, volunteer or mentor someone,
Do something that fits with what you really believe in.
Exactly. Something that gives you real joy. And remember, this is a journey, not a finish line.
We might slip up.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You'll probably feel those idols pulling you back sometimes. But be patient with yourself. Keep coming back to what really feeds your soul.
This has been, wow, really eye-opening. Who knew a story from so long ago could be so relevant today?
I know. It's amazing, right? It shows that, people have really changed that much. We're still searching for the same things.
Meaning purpose.
Meaning purpose.
Yeah.
But we can get lost along the way.
Micah's story, it's like a warning, but also a guide. We can learn from him. Choose to build our lives on something stronger, something more real.
Yeah, not those fake idols.
We can choose gratitude and helping others and connecting to, something bigger. And that's a life worth living. Thank you all for joining us on this deep dive. I hope you found it helpful.
Yeah, and I hope it gives you the courage to face your own idols and find what truly matters.
Until next time.